This world is not my home, no. 'Cause my home has streets that are paved with gold. So why do I ever try to fit in? So I keep circling back time and time again. Help me to find my way. I've been lost along the way. Help me to find a way to stay. Don't wanna run, don't wanna walk away. Help me to find my way. Help me to find my way. Help me to find a way to stay. I need more power. Surround me with your love, God.
Isn't that a soothing sound? That's Gary Body featuring Trey Carr and their Chicago artist. And I'm just so happy to have access to that beautiful music. I want to welcome everyone. Hello, beautiful people, and good evening, and welcome to Intellectual Radio's Voices of Change. My name is Jana, and I'll be your host this evening. I have a special guest this evening. She is a phenomenal lady. Her name is Sonya Watkins-Pierce. She's an author, a mother, an educator, and we're going to meet her in a few minutes and hear about her children's book. The book is called Percy's Blueprint to Greatness, and you could imagine what that's about. You could imagine it being encouraging, and that's exactly what it is. Everyone knows when I start my show off, I always start off with a scripture. Today is nothing different. For today, the scripture is from Romans 8:28. And it goes, and we know that in all things, God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose. And I picked this scripture intentionally because before having anyone on the show, I like to briefly talk to them and kind of see where they're at and interview them. And when I talked to Mrs. Watkins-Pierce, I knew that she was working and walking in her purpose. This is what she was made to do. Everything that she's done thus far in her life has brought her to this. So I'm going to read this quick bio. You're going to see how humble she is by the bio because it's only like a paragraph and she is so much more than this. But I appreciate her being succinct and having a brief bio. And it says, Sonya has worked as a certified Montessori guide and possesses a passion for keeping children engaged and learning at their own individual pace. She believes that every child learns when given the tools and resources to concentrate and focus. She believes they are like sponges and need to be exposed to proper images and dialogue to inspire achievement. Her challenges with focusing at several points in her life prompted a need to present direction for our youth. The children she has encountered have humbled and inspired her to no end. Her motivation for writing springs from the need for our children to see characters who are reflective of their skin color, their strength, and their culture. Our children are amazingly resilient and creative. Every great vision is carried out with a plan. Sonya believes children can get ahead of life's game by writing a plan. So help me welcome the planner, the visionary, Sonya Watkins-Pierce. Welcome, Sonya.
Hi, thank you. How are you?
I am good. How are you?
I'm great, thank you.
Wonderful. I had to brag a little bit, when you saw some of the promos, I was bragging a little bit. Some of you may have seen it when I put something out today. It says hashtag 219 doing things. And I said that with intention. And you know why I said it. So tell them why I said it.
Yes, because I found out that you're actually from Michigan City, Indiana as well. I had no clue. But yeah,
Small world.
thank you. Yes. And gosh, there is so much going on in that area. Oh gosh, I can just go through a slew of people that are, working hard and making changes in 219. Oh gosh, where do I start? I got to name a few people like Dion Campbell, who is the
Oh,
police.
Dion?
Yes. Absolutely. I went to he was there coaching as an assistant coach, I think, with basketball when I first arrived there. So yes, I know him.
Oh, wow.
Yes, David Greer. Oh my gosh, there's just a
David
slew of
Greer. Oh,
people.
yeah. You know a lot of people there then.
Yes.
It's
So people that are
fantastic.
just, yes, making their marks and doing what, is necessary to move or progress people in that area and all over the world. So yeah.
And you're doing those things too. You're definitely doing those things. And we're
Thank you,
so
ma'am.
proud of you. When
Thank
I
you.
kind of scout social media to find authors and people that are doing creative things. And what struck me was your graphics for the book because it was a cute little black kid. And I'm like, oh, who is this? I had no idea that you were you're from the Big D actually, right? Detroit.
Right, right.
But you went to school in Michigan City. And we also have something else in common. You also went to school in Terre Haute.
Yes.
Small world.
Oh,
Yeah, really a ocean, really, 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 really small world. So I just welcome you. And looks like we have someone that's greeting you. Yeah, MC, our hometown. Yeah, yeah.
oh, hey.
So I encourage people that if you're on, particularly if you can see us and you're on Facebook Live, give us a comment so I can read it. I'll try to read all of them. I can. Can't promise anything, but I'll try to read all of them. So we're going to start out because I know time is limited. We have however long it's going to take. And we want to start out with the questions because I want to hear about this book and I got to hear about what inspired you to write it.
Okay, thank
You
you.
have such
And first of all,
smile. Oh my God.
I'm just so grateful to be here. I was honored to be asked to present my book, and I kind of had a small stall after writing, just things in life happening, and I'm ready to pick up the momentum because I have another book that's coming very soon down the pike, and it's basically a continuation of Percy and his adventures. So this was an introduction of him. What inspired me as being a Montessori guide, first of all, my son, Chandler, was eventually at age 11 diagnosed as being on the autism spectrum, that he has Asperger's. And, at the time that I was told this, I'm like not into labels. And I think most of us feel that way because when it's real, basically we all have something going on with us. And there's probably some traits that I have that he got from my genes that, you just never know. I think there wasn't a lot of testing that went on back then. We just kind of were put in special ed or what have you. But Montessori is the reason, is the reason that I think that he's progressed. I found out about a curriculum that basically teaches children at their pace, which all children learn differently. So it makes so much sense. And this curriculum is more hands-on. It gives them things to do rather than sitting at desks and being like talked at. So once I got involved with Montessori and put him in Montessori, I decided I wanted to become what we call a Montessori guide. And I think, again, that has made the world of difference for my son. So with that being said, I always knew I wanted to write a book, and I knew it would probably be a children's book. So I kind of put in everything that I had learned and characters or children that I've encountered along my path and as a Montessori guide. And that it just came naturally how the story unfolded. And so that's why I know I have to give credit to something higher than myself and know that I was used as a vessel to actually produce this book that I know that it's not written for any particular color of child. The message in it resonates to any and everyone.
Okay.
And I say that to say that I know growing up, we were exposed to a lot of, faces that didn't quite look like ours. Things started to pick up and evolve. And now you're starting to see more representation of color, of different colors and such. So I'm happy about that. But this was my contribution for our young, especially Black boys, to have a protagonist that represented them.
That's admirable. I kind of want to jump on this autism thing because thinking about doing a show on that, I think I mentioned that because now it's so prevalent. I know 20 years ago or so, I have a nephew that has autism. I think there was like 1 in 225 that had autism. And now that number has like it's unbelievable. I think the last thing I
Yes,
heard, it was either 1 in 59 or 1 in 40. I can't remember. Makiba,
right,
I know you're on. If you can clarify that for me, but I know now it's so common, and some people linked it to vaccination, some people linked it to whatever. It
right.
seems to be hitting our young boys at a high rate. And I'm just, how did you find out he had autism?
Well, actually, from taking him when he was 11 years old to a
Yes.
psychiatrist or specialist that was able to run certain tests, because even when he was in kindergarten, I think he was probably 4 or 5, and the teacher came to me with concern, the way, with his focus more than anything.
Okay.
He's a very laid back child, so he's not all over the place, and he's never had behavioral issues. However, it was hard for him to focus, and he didn't talk a lot. And he
Okay.
still really doesn't unless he really knows you and wants to talk to you. But as he got older, I just, just certain, again, challenges that I realized that he had. I thought it was good to at least get a guide. And like I said, I'm not a person who's into um, labels, because again, it doesn't really matter. What does matter is getting the help and the resources that our children need to actually succeed and to have a chance. And I'm just grateful that I was able to run across and have the education and the gumption to help him, because like I said, it's a spectrum. It goes from one end to another. There's some that are highly functional, and then there's some that suffer more and don't have, the communication skills and such.
Right.
So I just think it's important for us to kind of know what's what, and at least have a barometer to know, again, how to help our children. So,
And I can agree with that because, as I see my nephew and other people, I think kind of a lot of us, I feel like many of us didn't even know have aspects of it.
right,
I've often thought that, and people say you're crazy, but this is something
right,
that just intrigues me, particularly because the numbers are growing and growing and growing.
exactly.
It's kind of scary. I hope they find the cause and a cure. But I'm grateful that if your son wasn't found out till he was 11, he's on that other end of the spectrum. A lot of young kids find out when they're babies. So
Exactly. And I wanted to say this too. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I know I have to put this out here because I felt like, things were pretty much moving at a pretty good pace until, we never know what could be the cause. But I just know that I don't know what was in the vaccinations that I gave my son. I have to admit, I don't know, but it just seemed like there was a point where he took a specific shot, and it was kind of I noticed a change. So again, hopefully we'll be able to get to the bottom of why it's happening. But there's something that's going on that's affecting the DNA in our young Black boys, and
And I've
that's just
heard that over and over. I've heard that more than once, more than twice, more than probably 3 times. That's why I want to do a show on it because I've heard that common thread, the common theme over and over again.
right.
I don't know. I think there may be something to it. But okay, so I want you to tell the listeners, tell people who don't know anything about the book, just a little synopsis. Just tell us a little bit about the book.
Well, Percy is a young, curious, and very intellectual boy whose dad is a doctor. So it has prompted him to have interests that are science driven, I guess. And he has been given an empty book that he gets to fill with his thoughts and planning, and he's taking this very seriously. And he's basically writing a blueprint for his life to get to the place that he wants to be. He's making a list, checking it out off, and he's just moving forward. So it gives like a structure, I think, the way the book is actually written. And this is due to feedback that I've gotten from friends, family, and even strangers, that it's pretty helpful as a guidepost to help children to, have that planning that is definitely needed and structure to be successful. So that's Percy is kind of an introduction to, hey, you got to plan it. You can't just talk about it. You have to, work each day to get to that goal. You have to do whatever is necessary in that particular direction that you're headed to reach that goal. And that's where Montessori comes in as well, because we're all taught, to be well-rounded. You have to learn about science, English, art, all that. But then there's certain children that they already gravitate to their path. And it's up to a Montessori guide to challenge that child in that regard or in that realm and let them go in that direction. Because I think, with schooling, first of all, it's pretty archaic because we're using the same kind of system, even though there are different curriculums thrown in, that everybody is not interested in the same thing. And some people excel in one thing and not something else. And it's just important early on to put a child on a path that is going to interest them and keep them going. For instance, with my son, I knew he liked Dragon Ball Z. I knew he was into Star Wars. So it was easier to kind of use those characters to kind of make a point in teaching them rather than just a generic form of learning that everybody's supposed to understand, because that's not realistic.
How old is Percy? I'm just curious in the book.
Percy is 11.
Wow. He's really forward thinking. I mean, think about it. People my age, every New Year say, okay, I got to get more organized. I got to do this. And Percy's doing it already.
Right? So that's what I'm saying. A lot of adults have even said, man, this book has helped me also to put into perspective that I got to have a plan. You know what I'm saying? And also, there was something you just said that it'll come to me in a second. But yes, planning is key and just staying on task.
What inspired you to write the book other than your son? Or was he the total inspiration for it?
No, he wasn't the total inspiration. It was a collaboration of things. And it was also just me wanting to contribute something that I thought would be valuable, because in this book, I use words and scenarios that I think challenge the age group. And I think it's, in my mind, and almost every author, I think, can probably say, you think that you're writing from, it can apply from 0 to 100 or whatever. But I do really believe that is the case with this. But I just wanted to have I guess, a platform where it challenges people in this age range, because according to some people that helped me with the publishing aspect of it, it kind of appeals to probably 8 to 12 or 13 years old. But again, it's ageless, but I just wanted there to be some challenges had. And then a friend of mine who's a teacher who read to her class, that was what one of the students said. I like how the author challenges us and uses certain words and puts certain thoughts in our mind to kind of, challenge us. And that's what it's about. Life is a challenge.
It is. Have you pushed it to the school systems? And
I have not, but that has definitely been recommended. Yes, it has. As a matter of fact, there's a friend who lives in Michigan City that wanted me to reach out to Dr. Watkins there, who I think is superintendent over the Michigan City.
Why don't you do that?
I would probably do that. Like I said, some things in life kind of stalled me for a second there, but I'm getting my momentum back because, again, I have another book that's coming very soon. So
and that's the next question. Great segue. Do you have plans for a sequel? If so, can you share with us a tiny bit about it?
Yes, the sequel, but I would like to, it probably is more along of the lines that you were already talking about. You're talking about doing a show on autism, and I will say that will definitely be addressed in Percy's next book.
Oh, that'll be great.
In some way, shape, or form.
How long did it take you to write the book?
It took probably about a few months, because there was times where I kind of walked away to let things marinate, and then I'd come back and be like, okay, yeah, this makes sense. And I took twists and turns with it. And it took about a few months, but then, with editing and then doing the illustrations, which I had an amazing Black woman help me. And her name is Jessica.
I love that, the illustration.
She's awesome. She is great. Jessica Cosmic Ninja Jones, and she's on Instagram, and she shares. She's constantly drawing and putting ideas and images out there. So yes, she was like my saving grace, because I have to admit I have like a control freak kind of factor about me. Like I knew what I wanted on each page, and the cover, everything from front to back. And I was just like, this is how I want. And, she of course helped me to, during the process to edit some things and add or subtract. But yes, I pretty much knew what I wanted from the beginning. And by the time we were done, and I was like, okay, I guess, I can't keep editing and changing this. It has to be, a point that the project moves forward. And I just think that I couldn't have done that without her. I couldn't have done it without the support of my friends and family. I couldn't have done it without my husband, soon to be ex, unfortunately, but
Oh, you opened up a can of worms on here saying that.
I know, but that's all right. I'm transparent.
Is everybody going through that? Because matter of fact, and that's another show that I want to talk about. There was a show on, another host had a show on about why can't black women keep black men or something like that. And I thought it was so intriguing. And I kind of want to delve into that because I know too many black women, too many of us, the marriage is falling apart. And typically it's for similar reasons. Not all the time, but typically it is. And I'm sorry, really sorry to hear that, because that is, it's always sad. I'm sorry to
Yes.
hear that. But you seem so strong, so no one would have ever known. You don't walk around with a dark cloud,
Not at all. You have to keep moving. I wish the
Yeah.
best for him, his family, which, of course, will always be my family, if you ask me.
Which is good.
Yes. It's just, sometimes in life, certain people, you're supposed to go to a certain point and then you're supposed to move on. And I hate that was the case, because when I got married, of course, that was not, I didn't marry for a divorce, or with that option even, but
Right.
things just happen. It's not easy to be in a relationship, and if you're not on the same page, then it's pretty much doomed. So that's what I'll say.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I'm just hearing it all over the place. Matter of fact, I'm taking a little impromptu survey. How many married couples do you know that are happy in your circle?
In my circle, there's a few, just
Wonderful.
a few, yes. And one couple being my parents, I have to say that.
Oh
They've
yeah,
been
yeah.
together. They've
I'm not
been
gonna count them. I'm not gonna count them. Okay.
right. And I just, I never wanted to have their relationship per se, because everybody's relationship is different, but the respect factor and the love factor and just the fact that, they are best friends. And I just know that has to be the key, because
And you feel it. You feel that friendship,
Exactly. So I just think there's someone for everyone, and you give everything of yourself when you meet that person, and you are willing to, move forward and have a life with them and grow old with them. And sometimes, it just, like I said, doesn't work out. But I know the man that I am still married to this point, is an amazing man. I would never say anything bad about him or take away from him, because he's an awesome person, and he loves God and he loves people. And I would just say that.
That's a beautiful thing. But this is an interesting statistic. It says, according to the documentary film Autism Every Day, divorce rates for families with children with autism are as high as 80%. And for families of children with other disability, that number has been touted as high as 85%.
Wow.
Now, divorce rate anyway is 50%. So
Right.
adding another layer on that. So I think that was very interesting. It kind of made sense, It kind of made sense, but I don't know.
Right.
With 80% divorce rate, that was kind of define happy.
Right. That's true. That's a good.
Define. Oh, okay. McKee, but you know what? Define happy.
That's your sister.
What I mean by happy is a couple that seems to work together, seem to respect each other, seem to have honesty and integrity, and just literally want to be around each other and have the stick with itness to want to be married. I think the problem is a lot of people feel like, well, it ain't working now, so it's time to go file the deed. But marriage is a huge commitment, and both partners have to want it equally as much. That's what I mean by happy. Now, how many do you know? Give me your numbers, smart. 1 point. Okay. On to the next question. What part of the book did you have the hardest time writing, or was there a part that you had a hard time writing?
I can't say that there was a hard part because once I got
Good.
rolling, it just that's kind of how I was taught to write from being in high school and being placed in kind of like weighted and advanced English classes throughout high school. It kind of helped me
Where were
to
you
when
in
I
these
get
advanced
writing
English classes at? Where were you in
at
these
Rogers High
classes?
School,
Oh, in MC. Okay, okay. I'm
right?
sorry. Okay,
So
go ahead.
right, so it I learned from Miss Pecoraro. No, Miss Pecoraro. Hold on, I have got to get her name. Dang, I can't remember. But just to write stream of consciousness, to write without judgment, and so basically that's what I did. I just kind of wrote. I had it like in my mind an outline, and I kind of knew where I wanted to start, what I wanted to kind of convey in the middle, and how I wanted it to wrap up. So I basically wrote from stream of consciousness, and then I went back to edit and kind of take out parts because I mean it's pretty prolific. It's got a lot of words, and that's why some people had kind of that I kind of confided in were like, you probably should make it more simple. But again, I knew I wanted to challenge my readers because I think that that's a good way to learn. We learn best from our parents through challenges, and we learn best from our peers. Like children learn best from other children. So, I'm just into wanting children to learn to write early, to get to a point where maybe children should be writing textbooks, if you ask me, because
I agree.
again, who who is better to teach another child but a child that might, that knows. So
I agree. We got some smart little remarks. I asked
right, I
Makiba.
see that.
I asked Makiba, and she said, she's mouthy. She said 1 of 6. If 1 of 6 of the couples that you know are happily married, you're very lucky. Congratulations.
Right.
For whatever you deem happy. And then someone else writes about you never know what is going on in other people. That's true. I mean,
That
because
is so
there's been
true.
couples that I assumed were like happy. I mean, to the point where, man, why can't I be like that? And then later you find out all this stuff. So it's
Right. Right.
And what else did Mouth say? People show what they want you to see. Yeah. They're real good at doing that. That's true. But
Absolutely.
still, okay, put in here how many couples do you know in your circle? In your circle now, your friends that that appear to be happily married. Because again, we never know. Okay,
Right.
so she told me about what she had the hardest time writing, which was nothing because of her stellar education at Rogers High.
No, not at all. The thing was, I'm gonna tell you what the hard part was for me, for real. Just being like a perfectionist, and that's a problem. That's not a good thing. I'm not bragging about that, but I'm saying that editing and just really like narrowing, because for real, this could have gone on and on and on, and I wouldn't be talking to you right now
That's what
because
I hear. Sometimes they just keep going on. They can't stop.
exactly. So I had to say to myself, you gotta come to a point where you're happy with what you're seeing, and keeping children in mind helped that, to be like, okay, I don't want to do too much. This is probably good. This is probably enough of a challenge. And that was the hard part, really just narrowing and being like, okay, I think this is it.
Okay. Now, this is the other side of it. You probably say the whole book. What part of the book was the most fun to write? What did you love writing about?
I liked writing about the imagination, like his future goal, and just like I had to be Percy in order to be like, Percy is wanting to do XYZ, and this is what he is imagining. So just being able to use his imagination to drive the book is what was so fun. It really was. And there's an excerpt in there basically about mom telling her and himself that using your imagination is everything. If you have a goal, you just got to do what you got to do to hit it. I'm here to guide you. So this is what you have to do. So one of the things that his sister wants to do. She wants to be an architect, and she has a very vivid, very imaginative, I guess, idea about houses in the future. So just being open and saying, okay, if I'm this age, when I was this age, I thought this way and that way. And it just helped me to kind of recapture my childhood in a sense, if that makes sense. Because I think as we get older, we sometimes lose our imaginations. We kind of get stuck in a certain way. And it kind of helped me to just kind of be free in that regard, if that makes sense.
And you're just so good because this runs into the next question.
Oh.
Which of the characters do you relate to the most and why?
Well, I have to be real. Mama. Because what mom doesn't want their child to be great? I mean, come on, let's be real.
Right.
There's a few, issues, whatever. But the bottom line is that I related to mom and her resilience at teaching him and giving him a foundation. Dad as well now, but I can only come from a mother's perspective. And that's who I related to the most, because I'm just like, yeah, I just remember trying to teach my son to read and everything. And I was just like, hey, we're going to do it this way, that way, whatever is going to help him to be able to read, because I knew that was the key to life, to learning. So.
Do you only have one child, or do you have more than
I
one?
do. I have one child. He's 19 now.
Oh, okay. Okay.
He's still a baby.
Oh, then you have to have a daughter, I guess. Okay.
Oh,
okay.
no. I'm past that point.
Wait, you just never know. You never know.
No.
You talked about the different iterations, and I've talked to other authors, and they're like, when do I cut it off? So what is a significant way your book has changed since the first draft? Or did it not change? Did you just continue?
It changed in the regard, as like I said, just kind of scaling back a little bit, just enough to where it was not so many words. We weren't trying to write a novel. We were trying to write a children's book. So just kind of taking out words that were not necessary, but every thought still remained. I was not going to waver on that. So, but just trying to reduce the words. Still a lot of words in it, but
how many pages is it? Is the book? How many pages?
It is, oh my gosh, it's about 36 pages. It's been a minute since
for a children's book. Okay.
Yeah, it's about 36. That's about a standard size of a children's book.
Okay.
36 pages at this level. So,
how much research did you have to do, or did you have to do additional research?
I didn't really have to do additional research. I'll say that I had to do research, being a Montessori guide, and the education that I had to I guess, obtain with that. So I kind of just compiled everything that I had learned to that point. And, but yes, I wouldn't say that I did any other like significant research. Really, I just read from stream of consciousness. I didn't want to be influenced too much aside from like a pure kind of theme that I already had in my mind. So,
okay. This book was a lot of fun for you to write, wasn't it?
It was a lot of fun.
You're just glowing when you talk about it.
Yeah, and I appreciate, again, I knew I wanted to get the momentum back because I had another book, and I just am grateful for you that, yes, I didn't realize how much I did love my book and miss it and want it. It was to share with the world. And any gift that you have and any accomplishment that you make is to share with others, because it's so much bigger than each and every one of us. It really is. So,
and that's why, since you've been encouraged, and I have to say it again, you should really consider. You're in Indiana, and you're from Michigan City, and you have an end there with the same last name. You should really push.
Right.
I mean, that's like the same last name. Come on, you should really pick up the phone and make a call and try to get it in the Michigan City school system. Since you're in Indiana, Indianapolis has a huge school system. You should really do that. The graphics, I love it. I could see them using it in their classrooms.
Thank you.
Any educators that we may have out there, and I know there are people that work with school systems, give me your opinion as you listen to this interview.
Right. Thank you.
Seriously, if you could spend a day with another popular author, who would you choose?
I
know that's always a hard one.
Hard one, and I really hard one. Gosh, I can't really I
Okay.
can't narrow. I really cannot narrow because I like a lot of playwrights like August Wilson. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
probably probably because that's one thing I wasn't never very good at playwright, and of course I majored in theater at Indiana State, and I had to
Really?
take playwright. I did, and I had to take playwriting. I did pretty good, but it's just something about it's a special talent, along with Tyler Perry. It takes to write a script and write a book that can be converted to a script. So probably Tyler Perry, August Wilson. Yeah, those are probably the ones that come to mind the most.
Have you thought about maybe possibly delving into your theatrical roots and maybe delving into playwriting? I know you don't, you're kind of hesitant. It sounds like you are, but because you're kind of, I think you do great at it.
Well, thanks. Actually, I spent a little time in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
When my son was probably 1.5 or so, we moved there, and I did do acting, and I did commercials. Was basically my hot
Hmm.
spot. I ended up booking a lot of nationals and
You
being able
did.
to yes, I
Well,
was
that's
able
something
to.
to brag on. What's wrong with you? What? Who did you do
I'm
that?
a humble person. I have a
Well,
problem with that. I think sometimes I'm too humble,
I
and I've
brag
been
on
told
this
that.
show. I brag.
Yeah.
Okay, so go ahead.
so, so that was cool. It was fun, but I think it's a possibility still. I'm not in the grave yet, so and I'm so we'll see. We'll see. It's a
I can
possibility.
see you doing that. And theater's so much, as you know, it's so much
Well,
fun.
well, thanks.
Live and fun. What is your kryptonite as a writer? Did you have any times when you just couldn't write? I mean, what is your kryptonite as a writer?
No, I don't think I have any kryptonite. It's like one
Wow.
thing somebody's gonna say about me. I hope it's written on my epitaph, on my headstone. Seriously, she did what she said she was gonna do, and I think that I try to apply that to every part of my life. I really do, because talking about it is not going to get it done.
No.
There's some things that I might procrastinate or try to over plan to get to, but I just hope that that's said about me. Because seriously, if I say I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it, and I just try to block out any fear factors that would keep me from accomplishing my goals. So that's the best way I can say I didn't. I'm not saying it won't happen with this next one, but it's all here. I like try to let it develop here first, and then I get to writing. So hopefully, I won't have kryptonite on this next one either.
Wonderful. Oh, I see I have somebody else in here. Um, uh, what risk have you taken with your writing that have paid off?
Hmm.
Or did you take any risk?
I think, I guess I will say that probably the biggest risk was putting Percy on the cover, who is obviously a chocolate young boy. I don't know if that's a risk or not, because
Mm,
it's meant for all children, but I wondered at times if I would be blocking out other races because they would see, oh, this is a book for Black children. So I think that was the biggest risk. But if it was a risk, it was just necessary. So again, as I've mentioned before, we grew up, and we still do. We see images all around us that don't look like us. It's getting better now. Don't get me wrong. We're
right.
seeing
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
ethnicities, we're seeing different sizes of people, different cultures. So that is good. We're headed in a great direction. But again, I think there's probably a nuance among certain races, probably to think that that's not for me or my child. But I will say this: there were plenty of people in the 219 area that are Caucasian that I grew up with, that they bought the book, and they, again, read it to their students. They bought it for their children, and they didn't see that it was a color barrier or a line or anything like that. So
And that's probably because it's 219. No, I'm just joking.
exactly, exactly.
No, no, I'm just joking, but and that's as it should be. I mean, I
Yeah.
think about all the years and years and years where the only images that we saw were other images, to the point where when I was growing up, when I was young, if we saw a Black group or a Black person on the TV, we'd call
Mhm.
everybody and go, "Oh my God, they're on TV! We're on
Come
TV!"
see
You know,
y'all.
so
Exactly.
I know that you probably feel that that was a risk, and I guess in this day and age, it seems like things have kind of gone backwards. Maybe
Right.
it is, but if someone was really interested and wanted to look at it, when they see that little cute face, the graphics are so gorgeous.
Right.
They help
Thank
themselves,
you.
but to pick it up. I see
Jessica
someone that
Jones. She was awesome. That's all I can
yeah,
say. This lady
I
can draw.
see someone in the studio. I'm going to bring her on for a minute. Hopefully, she's going to talk about the school system, or maybe she's going to give me some more data that I may have misspoke on autism. I'm not sure. Sometimes, I get corrected, and I welcome being corrected if I'm not right. She's a health educator, but also in the school system. This is Mary McKeeba. Mary McKeeba, I want to introduce you to my illustrious guest.
Hi.
Hi, Makiba.
How are
See, I
you?
know you. I know Makiba.
I know you do. That's why I was just like, I know who Sonya
She
is.
was
know
great.
Makiba.
I was
I
like,
state
you.
Sheila.
You know,
Yeah. Sheila's
Yeah.
her niece. Sheila's
my-
her niece. Sheila's my niece.
Sheila's your niece.
No, I was telling Sonya
I'm
that
like, whoa,
you and I are sisters.
Okay.
Janice and I are sisters. Sheila is our
Right.
oldest niece.
Okay. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Yeah.
I
So I
knew
do
that.
remember you from my state.
You too.
Oh
Nice to
my
see you.
God. Did you know she was in national commercials? She don't like to.
No, actually, I didn't. I knew that she'd be successful, and I knew she'd do well and good things in life.
Oh,
I had no idea that you were at not IU. I'm sorry, Michigan City.
right.
That's not where I know her from, right? But yeah, very
That's
good.
I think that's where I met you. That's where I met you because I went
In
to.
Michigan City.
I don't want to say the year I went to I State, but I'll just say
I think I met you at I State because there was a time period that I visited Sheila a lot because I had a boyfriend down there. So
that's where.
that's what I'm saying.
Because I remember being in that neighborhood in Southgate and
Southgate?
meeting you then. It seems like you were visiting that time because I was good friends with Lisa.
Lisa Merriweather.
Yeah, so I think
Yes.
I know it's a small.
Okay, well, it's a small world,
right? But anyway, it's great to see you. You
Great
look
to
so
see you as
beautiful.
well.
I remember.
Great to see you as well.
Okay, so Makiba, I got a question because you're
Sure.
because you're in the school systems or have been embedded in the school systems in Indy. Don't you think this would be a great book for her to push in the school
Absolutely.
systems?
When I saw it, I fell in love with it. Absolutely. And to be honest with you, Sonya,
Yes.
you said that was the one thing that was kind of risky. You're absolutely correct.
Wow. You guys
just because to see a brown face on something is we don't see things like us. So
Right.
that's what enticed me to see it. I love it that your target audience is everybody, but you are going to attract more brown and black people when they see brown and black faces. And so kudos to you. We love that. We want more of that. As far as the school system is concerned, I think that it would be a hitter in a school system for sure.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Okay.
You have her name. If you think about names, so I can send her name so she can, contact.
Absolutely.
In the school system. Anybody from the Shy who's in the school system, hit me up. Give me a phone number and a name, and maybe we can get her in here. I mean, who knows?
Yeah.
That's what we do. What is the age range? What is the age range of the book?
It's like I said, probably 18 to 13, but of course, being an author, I know it surpasses that. And having had feedback from adults, yes, it's never too early to get, to help children to get on a path of success or greatness, to give them their blueprint. So probably 8 to 13.
And Cynthia's asking because of her programs.
Yeah, I was just going to say it will be great for Cynthia's program. She does after school, before and after school care programs.
Oh, for that age group?
And they are usually middle school. 18 is high, but usually we do
No, it isn't 18. It's 8 to 13, right?
8 to 13.
Yes,
like
yes.
Third grade to about.
Yep. So then middle school would be perfect.
Right. Okay.
Okay, Cynthia, she has oversight for all these programs in Indy, after school and all that. So that's why she was asking what's the age. So we're gonna have to connect you. That's what we do.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Connections is where it's at.
Absolutely.
It's not what you know, it's who you know.
Exactly.
So I was the pessimist in the group when you guys were talking about relationships. And I am, I agree with Sonya. You get married, you think you're getting married for life. But it's hilarious that you said Janice, I think the rates for marriage for kids or people that have people on the spectrum. I have a son who's 20, who is severely autistic. He's nonverbal. He doesn't speak. And the rate for marriage staying together is like 80%. Different other, like, I don't know if they have any other like spinal bifida or any kind of thing like that, it can go as high as 87%.
Wow.
And those stats were done in 2020.
That's a high divorce rate. But see, I'm probably kind of cynical because I know that going out the gate, half the marriages won't last.
Absolutely.
Right.
So you can see it increasing even more.
Right. So, and when I think about people who I know, and I have a broad net, how many people do I think? And like someone said, you don't know what's in their life. How many people do I think are happy? Not a whole lot.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so but you know, that's what we're all striving for. And like Miss Sonya said, there's someone out there for everyone, you know, and we're believing in that. She's such a happy optimist with a great smile. So
thank you.
We're gonna lean.
You know what it boils down to? Who's willing to put up with your mess?
Right.
And vice versa.
Who's willing to put in the work?
Because we all got it. We all got our mess. And it's just, if you find that person that's just like, I don't care, you whatever the case, and you just cannot see yourself without them, then it's just, it is what it is, and you're gonna make it work.
Yep.
And that's what you think about when we think about our parents. That's how they
put in the work.
It didn't matter. It didn't matter. I want to be with you, and you know, so because they had that stick it with it. Okay. Another question for Miss Sonya. One of the last ones. Oh, I gotta ask this a couple times. How can people purchase your book?
Through Amazon or myself. I keep copies if you're in my vicinity, but it can be purchased at Amazon, and you can just go to children's books in Amazon and type in A Vision in Writing, Percy's Blueprint to Greatness. So.
And how can people, if someone knows someone or if someone's on here that may need to order a bunch of books for their programs or for their school or want to contact you, how can they contact you?
They can reach me at Sonya Pierce, DA@gmail.com. That's probably the best way to reach me. Or I'm on social media. I'm on Facebook and Instagram. So you can always DM me and I can give you that information to move forward. But I so appreciate you, Janice.
And you can take it from me, guys, because I literally saw the graphics on the book and fell in love with the little boy.
Yeah.
And I literally hit her up on Facebook. I know she thought I was nuts. So she is on Facebook, Sonya Watson Pierce. You can get her on and she will respond. She'll probably have big question marks like, who are you? But she
I will respond.
respond. One of the final questions, do you ever have writer's block? It doesn't sound like you do.
No, because again, I think that perfectionism in me, it's like I gotta have the whole thing, even if I don't have the words, like I can see images of the book or the project, because I have written books before, but I think I was going to start with my children's book. I didn't publish those. I've kind of put them to the side, and something made me, drove me to want to write my first book to be a children's book or whatever. So yeah, I think I don't get writer's block. When I'm ready to write, I write. But again, I might come back, something might come to me and I'll be like, oh, I got to throw this in, or, maybe I should take it that direction. So I let it marinate throughout my writing process. That works for me.
Okay, I have a young man from Indiana State who was ice-skating all over the place. He had a question. And it kind of went hand in hand with the question that I have. And it's, how do you process and deal with negative book reviews was my question. And he's asking, are you having problems with the anti-woke people? In other words, have you had any negative feedback about the book?
Okay, first I'll address the question, just negativity in general. I feel like I'm a master of myself at this point. And I think I've always been that way because I just want to exude love. And I know that sounds idealistic, but that's just really how I am. I always wanted to be friends with pretty much everybody and let everybody know, okay, don't make assumptions. by how I look or my skin color or anything like that. We all chocolate folks. We are all, God's people, however you want to look at it. And so I'm pretty good at just ignoring negativity and realizing that there's joy, pain, sunshine, rain. It all comes together. So I just know how to like balance and keep it at bay. But everybody has their opinion and a right to their opinion. If I'm satisfying everybody, I'm doing something wrong. My mama always told me that. She's like, if nobody dislikes you, nobody's saying something negative about you, you are doing something wrong. So I'm just gonna leave that there.
Love it. See, that's why we love Sonya. Okay, love it.
Thank you.
Love that. Our
Thank
show
you.
is about, man, our show has about wrapped up. And I want you to one more time tell them, you can't tell people enough. I want you to tell them how they can get in touch with you and how they can purchase a book. One more again, as they say.
Okay, you can reach me by Instagram. I'm under Sonya L. Pierce. On Facebook, Sonya Watkins-Pierce. And you can always email me, sonyapierceda@gmail.com. Again, you can go to Amazon because you can go right there, go to children's books and type in A Vision in Writing, Percy's Blueprint to Greatness, and it'll pop up. So
wonderful.
Thank you. That's it.
Wonderful. A Vision in Writing. That's wonderful. And once again, I'm actually putting it out there. Anyone that may have a program that may need some books to encourage their little kiddies who's in the program or in a school system or know someone in a school system that may need to broaden their horizon and get these books, reach out to me or reach out to her. You have all of her information. Makiba, since you're our surprise guest today, I just love pop-ups. Do you have anything? I can't believe you two know each other. Now I was like, my gosh.
Well, when I saw her, I was just like, I know that face.
Yeah, but yesterday she met. I'm like, I wonder if that's Sheila's Makiba. I just
that's Sheila's Makiba.
That's her. That's her.
Sheila's everybody. Yeah.
Right.
I didn't even realize she knew Sheila because
anybody that went to I-State knows Sheila. Come on.
Right. Absolutely.
But Sheila was there like in the 90s or late 80s.
Okay, so listen, I have a 20-year-old. She has a 20-year-old. Are you telling her age?
No, we don't talk age, baby. Come on.
But I'm just saying, I was there around that time. For something.
Yeah.
It has been a pleasure as always. Thank you so much. And Miss Watkins-Pierce, we may have you come back on as a panelist. There's a lot of shows that I was
going to say, when you do autism stuff, bring her back. That'll be great.
Yeah, because I plan to do that. This is already the end of January, probably next month, because I want to do it pretty soon. And I want to do another show, and I kind of mentioned on that, but I don't know if Miss Sonya want to be on that one. But I want to bring her back. Her light is so bright. So we definitely want to bring you back.
Nothing but God.
For real. And I didn't know you.
Give it to him, girl.
All right.
And I don't tell everybody that, but that's okay. Anyway, it has been a pleasure. We will be back next week on Intellectual Radio, Voices of Changes. Thank you so much for the people that took the time out of their busy schedules to watch it and to listen to Miss Sonya Watkins-Pierce, author extraordinaire. We expect big things out of you. When you get that other book, that next book, you got to come back here, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And when you blow up, and I know, Channel 2 and all of them will be interviewing you, but you got to say, I came to this little station. I'm going to come back.
Absolutely. Little. Don't use little. We don't use little to this station. Yeah, we don't do little.
Amen.
No little businesses, no little people. We are just us and God's people. And I appreciate you so much. I really do.
We appreciate you, and I can't believe you two know each other. Anyway, on that end, we are going to end. Everyone have a blessed week and see you next week. Hope you tune in. Bye-bye.
Blessings.
Take care. Blessings.